Hello, everyone. Uh, we are here on Kitabi Club Live, and we have with us author Koral Dasgupta. Koral Dasgupta is an author, painter, entrepreneur, and professor, a compulsive storyteller. She has authored 6 books, including 5 works of fiction and a book of non-fiction about Bollywood. Kunti is the second book in her Sati series, first being Ahalya. Uh, this will be followed by Draupadi, Mandodari, and Tara. Coral's fourth book has been optioned for screen adaptation. We'll be talking to her about that as well. She's the founder of Tell Me Your Story, a cross-culture repository on the global perception of India. Coral consults with educational and corporate organizations on content and communication projects and was included in the Holmes Report Innovator 25 Asia Pacific List 2019. So let's welcome Coral.
Hi
Hello,
Neha,
Coral.
thank you for having me here.
We are excited to host you on Kitabe Club. So
My pleasure.
let's begin. So, Coral, first of all, tell us about your journey of being an author. Was it a childhood dream? Did it happen accidentally? Since you're a storyteller, what is the story behind that?
Not accidentally, I think storytelling has been my forte since the time I was born because uh, I used to lie a lot. And my mother
Oh,
says that uh, I could just, and most of the times I didn't get caught. I say it so, convincingly in school, at home. Most of the times I didn't get caught. So now my mother often said that I was atrocious. Now I tell her that it was my prep for being a storyteller. And of course, I am a fiction writer. So those were my prep periods. But I definitely didn't think ever that I'll become an author. I was doing my graduation in Shantiniketan, and everybody around me, especially those that were studying literature, had some kind of authoring dream, and I was clueless. I was doing economics. I had nothing. I was not even thinking of anything of that order. And it's strange that none of my friends from my college, those that I really know well, have become authors. I have become. So
hmm.
it was not planned. It just happened.
Okay. Uh, was this interest in mythology always, or there was something that made you so deeply invested in mythology?
I won't say that I was very consciously interested, but
Hmm.
the interest in mythology was always there. I remember that I had Bengali translations of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata in at my home.
Hmm.
So almost every holidays, the summer holidays, we had 3 holidays: summer holidays, puja holidays, and winter holidays. All the holidays, I would begin with reading these translations again and again. I was very much in love with the concepts. I mean, the first person in that I had fallen in love with in life was Arjun, uh, and I was also totally fascinated by the very concept of Shiva and Kali and Vishnu, Krishna.
Hmm.
So always had that. Then Chitrangada. Chitrangada is a very important name in Bengali culture, especially because there's a poetry written by Tagore on her. So we are culturally very much invested there. Tagore has also written a conversational poetry on Karna and Kunti. It's called Karna Kunti Shambad. So we are culturally invested there, and Uh, now it's very difficult for me to say put a reason as to why I was reading again and again. But I feel that when you read the Ramayana and the Mahabharata so many times, one is it's a magical world, and you fall in love with the with the way things are uh, spanning out. But probably, and that's my hypothesis, that it also raises a lot of questions in your brain. And though I was very small, and now that I'm grown up, I have no evidence or reason to say that since there were unsettled questions, I was going back to it. I have no reason to say that I cannot make that claim. I was small. But I feel that probably that could have been one of the reasons that I was going reading and coming back and again rereading. Uh, by the time I became an author, mythology came naturally to my writing. In fact, the first two fiction that I had written, mythology made its presence felt uh, in the fictional stories, and that was not something that I was consciously planning. It just came, it just happened. Uh, so it was always there, but as I proceeded and I was again not very conscious or confident about writing mythology to this extent. But now that I'm writing, I feel far more spiritually empowered. And I mean, I can't explain that to you. It doesn't have words, that what I have gained while writing this.
So yeah, actually, what you're saying is that you read and you reread Mahabharata and Ramayana, and I think they have a lot of layers in them. And every time you read, you discover something new about the characters, about
Right.
the incidents that happen, and uh, and there are many interpretations.
Hmm.
So, and in fact, there are a lot of books also on mythology, which are retellings, which are books written from different characters' point of view, and each one is, justified in their own way. So yeah, I think there are a lot of layers, and we can keep on going exploring mythology, especially Mahabharata. I think so. Like when I was reading Kunti, I I again discussed it with my husband, and we do this every time we read something based on mythology, and we always realize that there are so many things that can have different interpretations. So yeah, and Kunti, I for the first time I felt that Kunti had so much depth, and there was I mean I never thought Kunti was such an important person, and I mean she could feel so many things, like right from her childhood, from the part where you described how she was given away uh, by her father, by her biological father. So right from that part, so that was really intriguing.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so coming to the Sati series, how did you conceive that idea of bringing out a series of these five characters from mythology?
I had a one sentence pitch that I had sent to Pan Macmillan, really one sentence pitch. And that pitch was that these are the Panchkanya. The
Hmm.
Panchkanya, when translated by very senior scholars, I didn't translate. The scholars translated Panchkanya as five virgins.
Hmm.
And here we have, you may not know enough about Mandodari and Tara, but you know
Hmm.
that Ahalya is a story caught in infidelity. Uh, Kunti has had her sons from five devas, five no, four devas, uh, who were not her husband. And then Draupadi had five husbands. So here we have the women who had more than one partner, or
Hmm.
who had partners who were not necessarily their husbands, and still they are called the five virgins or Panch Sati or Panch Kanya, right?
Hmm.
So, and here I come from Bengal, where Sati is a tremendously political word, which women have suffered for generations.
Hmm.
Women's purity and the purity of body holds a very orthodox meaning
Hmm.
in Indian cultural context. And here we have ancient literature calling these five women with many partners the five virgins. There must be a reason, right? I mean, which means that ancient literature is saying that women's body doesn't hold any significance. It is something else which defines their
Hmm.
virginity, not the body. And it
Right.
is so tremendous. I mean, we are fighting for it in our feminism debates today. And a literature which was composed so many, I mean, thousands and millions of decades ago had already specified this. So, and then we hear things like Hindu religious narratives are regressive. I mean, see, I am not here to justify any religious or anything which is based on religion, because religion can be very very influential. Religion can be very very motivating, and religion can also be very very discouraging, very very pushing you to the corner and throwing you off the roof. Depends upon who
Hmm.
are the ones who are dealing with it. But philosophy is far vaster. It doesn't conform to the uh, smallness to which religion can be reduced to if one wants. Philosophy cannot be reduced.
Hmm.
So, Hindu philosophy is vast, huge, and tremendous. And it is a lot about the way we have been told the stories in our childhood, or the kind of artistic translation that has happened, that has painted the women characters in a particular way. And we have grown up believing that our religion, our culture, our the expectations of our religion and our culture is they prefer timid women who are obedient, who are who like love to stick to the home and follow orders. And while writing the series, or while working on this series, I realized that mythology does anything but that. Mythology is full of brave, fierce women who have been making their own decisions, and they are not just decision makers; they are change makers.
Yeah.
So that was very, very important.
Absolutely. Sometimes when I read these books, these kind of books, I feel that people then were more progressive than the society
Yeah.
currently. So it sometimes angers me also that what kind of a society we live in, and the stories we've been hearing. You're very right about that. The stories we've been hearing about these women are told in such a regressive manner, and from our childhood we have been hearing those kind of narratives. Even while we saw it on screen, those were the
Yeah.
kind of narratives which were given to us.
Yes, that is
So
what I
it.
meant when I said that artistic
Hmm,
translations. It could be
yeah.
screen, it could be the paintings, a lot of those. If you look at temple art, which happened many years before, they were very, very liberating,
Hmm,
both for men and women. They showed a lot of free living.
hmm.
But the kind of painting, theater, the road shows, the screen translations, all those have painted a very different picture much later.
True. Okay, now since you mentioned painting, I saw that Coral is also a painter. Is that what
Amateur.
you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, these things are very stress relieving. So I just,
Hmm.
when I am not in the right frame of mind, I just sit and put some colors and, get messy with those. Uh, a lot of my doubts and thought plots have been clarified while doing those paintings, though I am not a professional painter, neither am I a good painter. I just have, I just do those the way they come, or when I feel like. So don't take me seriously
Oh,
as a painter.
okay. Now I think what you said towards the very beginning, that your mom, that you were a liar. Now I can say that yes, Coral is a liar because I've seen your paintings on the website and they look beautiful.
They are grammatically incorrect. If you show them to someone who is a painter, they will, I mean, okay, let me not say what they will say. Let them say
Okay,
what
but
they have
then
to.
No, but really, I loved those paintings, and that's why I wanted to specifically talk about that with you.
You are kind.
So, okay, coming back to the Sati series. So, you are following an order where first was Ahalya, then Kunti, then comes Draupadi, then Mandodari, and Tara. Is there a reason behind this particular sequence?
Sequence. There is a sloka in the epics, not in the epics, in the Puranas,
Hmm.
which mention it in this order. And I didn't want to
Okay.
change the order. I wanted to keep it in this way because
Hmm.
if you see that Ahalya, Kunti, and Draupadi belong to the human kind,
Hmm.
then Mandodari belongs to another kind, not human,
Hmm.
neither deva, the
Hmm.
asura. And
Asura,
then
yeah.
Tara is animal.
Hmm.
So it has been listed like that. And see, I have no idea what I'll write before I write. So when I sit on the desk, that is when it comes to me. But I had decided that I will stick to the order. I will not change the order because I just felt that Ahalya, Kunti, Draupadi, Mandodari, Tara, it's like rhythmic. Let me
Hmm.
not tamper with that. In fact, I'm trying my best not to tamper with the basic storylines that has been provided or whatever little big has been provided.
Hmm.
I am trying to stick to the basic boundary of the stories and just do the interpretation differently.
Okay. So, Ahalya, Kunti,
Draupadi.
and Draupadi. I'm really curious about how, since in Kunti you mentioned something about Ahalya, and then towards the end there is Draupadi. So I am really curious to know how you are going to relate Draupadi to Mandodari. How is that transition going to happen? So I'm really curious about that.
I have not tried very hard, but let me tell you that link is always there. One common link is Indra, present in
Hmm.
all the stories. And Mandodari's father, no, Draupadi's palace of illusion or the Indraprastha palace was built by Maya. You know that, right? Maya
Yeah,
Dana.
yeah. Hmm.
Maya was Mandodari's father.
Okay. Okay, so that's the correlation we
Yeah,
got.
I mean,
Okay.
all the stories are connected in some way or the other, though Draupadi and Mandodari are not very uh, strongly connected like it happens in others. But
Hmm.
I mean, I kept it, I would like to keep it at, like that because with Draupadi, the human representation of the stories are ending. After that,
Hmm.
there is one Asura and then animal. So I am not necessarily forcing that kind of continuity, though the continuity is there, and I'll keep it exactly the way it is.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, there are a lot of aspiring writers out here.
Hmm.
So, would you like to give them some advice about writing?
Okay. I think there are two things that I would say. One is uh, observe a lot, and trust me, a lot comes from observing. Observe, when I say, I don't mean that watch TV, though that is also important. You get to see a lot about storytelling when you are watching the shows or cinema. But if you simply stand in the balcony and watch downwards, you will find a dog running. You will find some leaves swaying. You will find a squirrel, trying to run with a nut. You will find a person screaming at someone else. You will find a woman walking with her child. You will get to see their expressions. You will get to see uh, even a woman walking with her child. The way she is gripping the child's hands will tell you a lot about that woman's relationship with the child. The way a person is screaming at another one for whatever reason will show you the hassle that he is going through internally, because of which that scream is coming out. You will see a lot of expressions of animals and nature. and those are capable of becoming very interesting masala for the
Hmm.
stories that you write. Um, and the other one is when you are observing and you observe, and trust me that even if you are not very conscious about what you observe, if you feel that whatever you have observed is very mundane, your subconscious is a very interesting space that you are not aware of. Your subconscious traps a lot of things. And when you are sitting down to write, your subconscious will return whatever you have observed the way you have observed. Often, when you write, a lot of things come out which you didn't know that you were thinking of it in those, if thinking of those in that way. It happens a lot with me, especially even the Sati series that we are talking about. As I said, that I don't plan my writing, I just sit and that is when it happens. A lot of it is because I treat it like a meditation. Not that I treat it like a meditation, it is a meditation. I didn't make a conscious decision that it is meditation for me. But then it is some kind of, cathartic experience that I go through, that when I'm on the keyboard, I just get to see things. Another thing that really helps me is I don't get time throughout the day to think and plan a story graph and all that. I don't do that. But when I go to sleep, I think of the characters. I try to spend time with the characters. So, for example, if I am writing Draupadi, I will try to think of Draupadi. I will try to see Draupadi. So, most importantly, I know how my characters look like very clearly. I get to see them and I get to see their world. I get to see how they are behaving, how they are expressing. And then that is where I just scoop them out and put them here. So when it works for me, it may not work for you, but since it works for me, I'm telling you that when go to sleep, I sleep thinking of them. That is actually an exercise that you do to uh, uh, kind of, work your subconscious, give a clue to the subconscious that bring out more stuff. So your subconscious starts operating, and while you are sleeping, a lot happens in your subconscious mind, and at the right time, it comes out. This could seem like a very theoretical thing that I am saying. It is indeed theoretical, but since it works with me, I'm telling you. But the baseline is observe and think. These two will really help. I mean, I do a lot of story workshops, and these are the two things that I strongly recommend. That without these,
Hmm.
you will not be able to write.
Wow, this is some really sound advice, I would say. And I can actually feel that yes, when we observe, uh, we will be able to probably write more in a better way, all the expressions and everything that we see around. Okay, one question. Uh, there's this red dot, which is a part of the cover of all the books. What is the significance of this red dot?
Actually, there is no significance. It looked beautiful, so we put it.
Okay. And I thought it signifies something. And since because
See,
I
see,
mean
I
you're
came
writing
to
about
know
the women.
when array, that controversy broke out now for Fab India,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
someone had suddenly pointed out that bindi nahi lagai औरतों ने, इनके बिंदी नहीं है. Bindi is such a strong thing of Hinduism. That is when I got to know that वो एक मतलब वो बिंदी वाली जो dot है उसका कुछ religious significance भी है. I didn't know. It was just that we were trying out different options, and certain things were put together. And जैसे हमारे घर पे जब पूजा होती है, यू मस्ट हैव सीन
Hmm.
दैट कलश के ऊपर एक रेड डॉट दिया जाता है.
Right.
So I think the designer had done something like that, just a
Hmm.
manglik, a mangal
Hmm.
symbolism, since this has a lot to do with the semi-god, demigoddesses, for that matter.
Hmm.
So, but it was definitely not to signify, or, but it was not done very consciously, or यू नो बहुत सोच समझ के महान कुछ करने के लिए नहीं था. It was just to make it look beautiful.
Okay, and my interpretation to it was because you're writing about women and women put a bindi. So that red dot signifies that bindi of all the women. That's what my interpretation was.
Uh, I mean, it holds because the author only does half the job. The rest of the job, other half of the job is done by the reader, and together the story happens. So that's
True.
always there.
Okay, so Shweta Jain has a question. In case you write a book about a male character from Mahabharata, who would that be?
See, my first answer would be Arjun because I'm completely in love with that character. But if I am to somewhere give voice and do justice to one character, that would be Bhishma, because
Hmm.
I feel that the transformation that Bhishma had had from Devavrat to Bhishma, it was a
Hmm.
tremendous transformation where a boy in his teens had the normal dreams that a teen should have, and suddenly he has taken an oath. Uh, the devas had showered flowers on him and congratulated him for making that bold sacrifice. But probably that boy in teen, because of his love for his father, said certain things, and it came to him much later that what is the significance of what are the repercussions of that particular oath that he had taken. And now that
Hmm.
guy is totally cut off from many of his dreams, from everything that a teen might want, and he is supposed to live a life, a very austere life, while living in a Rajmahal where
Hmm.
everybody else is doing every kind of thing which fulfills their luxury. How would you think? I mean, what would you think the person would go through? He's supposed to be a human being, right? He is a human being on earth. It is a tremendous transformation, and a lot of things that Bhishma does after that manifests as cruelty, and that cruelty often comes from the suppression that a person may have gone through. Bhishma would be one character that I would love to explore.
Great. So with that, we come to the last rapid fire round, which I'm going to do with you.
I am really bad
So
at that. I have no idea what I'll answer.
then it'll be great fun. So, okay, what do you prefer? A book series or standalone books?
Series, it helps me develop for a longer period of time, and
Hmm.
it is more challenging.
Okay. Murder mysteries or romance?
Romance. I hate murder
Books with
mysteries. Okay, no,
illustrations.
don't hate. A lot of my friends do that. So, no, I don't hate. I don't hate.
Okay. Books with illustrations or text?
Text.
What do you think is the perfect place to read? Beach or mountain?
Mountain.
Coffee shop or home?
Coffee shop.
Great. So, thank you so much, Coral. It was wonderful talking to you and
My pleasure too.
waiting eagerly for Draupadi and the rest of the book, Mandodari and Tara in the series. And also, since I haven't read Ahalya, this is going to be my next read. So, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for hosting me, and it was pleasure talking to you too.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye bye.